Hey, family. I'm Casey, and you're listening to You Heard Me Right, a podcast that brings people together through creativity, collaboration, and colorful conversation. On today's episode, we simply allowed things to unfold in their own divine time. With our guest writer, 2 audio artists, and an evening full of stars. The final topic for season 1 is battleground. Throughout this season, it has truly been an inspiration to see firsthand that the most effective way to combat seemingly insurmountable differences between people from different walks of life may just be opening our ears, minds, and hearts, and recognizing the value in every story and every song that our fellow human being is willing to share. And with that, we shall now go prepare for battle, ground, and all of the art that the theme inspired right after this. Our guest writer Anthony proved that the pen is indeed mightier than the sword while tackling the topic battleground. Here's what he had to say.
My name is Anthony Green Jr., and I'm a pastor at a church in Marietta, Georgia, Bethesda Empowerment International Church. I also work in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Atlanta Mission, where I work on the men's campus serving those who are facing homelessness. For many of us who's spiritual, we know that there's this realm of good and evil that we are constantly fighting in. And so the term battleground, it wasn't hard to think about what I was going to write about. You know, and given such an opportunity like this to get something meaningful, in the airwaves, I had to take this opportunity. I heard clearly from God, this is what it is.
Please enjoy Anthony's sermonette entitled Warfare.
Do you believe in devils? I do. I'm not talking about negative forces or negative energies from the universe. I'm talking spirits, demons, devils. The year 2020 has brought about hardships for countless of lives. Not long after the year began, the world has faced a devil called COVID-19. And as a result, many people have suffered from hate crimes, unemployment, depression, illnesses, and even death. Doctors and scientists have been scrambling to find a cure brought about by this spirit that has caused such chaos. Political leaders have had meetings and debates to try to find a resolve that will bring peace to the land. But for those of us who are spiritual, we must not dismiss the spiritual implication of what is happening in our world today. We are in spiritual warfare. The book of Ephesians states, "For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places." This world in which we exist is a battleground between the forces of good and evil, between those of the darkness and those of the light. And for us who exist within the light, we must fight in the best way we know how, through the power of prayer. Pray without ceasing. Pray every woman, man, and child. Pray for peace. Pray for healing. Pray for unity. Pray for love. Let all nations, north, south, east, and west, put on the full armor of God so that you will be able to stand firm against the schemes of the devil. On this battleground, let's arm ourselves with the weapon of prayer. For the earnest prayer of a righteous person has great power and produces wonderful results.
I have the sneaking suspicion that Anthony is going to be the favorite guest of every Black grandmother who happens to stumble upon this podcast. Okay, so time for the final Season 1 behind-the-scenes rant. As you can probably imagine, there are a lot of moving parts that occur behind the scenes in order to make this show happen. One of which is an incredibly detailed process for scheduling our group interviews. Well, on this particular episode, long story short, Team You Heard Me Right had to make a few swift adjustments and do some things just a little differently. #improv. Remember, in art and in life, no matter what happens, the show must always go on. Follow us now as we head to the treehouse a little sooner than usual. Oh, but watch your step, because it's like real dark out here. Hey guys, we can start getting into position now because they just messaged me. They are super close.
Oh wait, hold on. I ain't got.
I'm not rushing you, Anthony. You can finish your little text.
Now you have like a fiance, you have to check in.
Oh, well, you're lucky we already started rolling because now she'll get to hear how considerate of a fiance you are. You score you some points.
Oh, we got that on tape?
They're pulling up right now. They're pulling up. Okay, so let's do some multitasking. I'm going to go grab them and bring them back here. Anthony, a quick warm-up question for sound check. What inspired you to write a sermon as your artistic response? Okay, we're going to get levels. I'm going to get them. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay, so it all starts with the urgency of what it is that needs to be said, right? So when it comes to, let's just forget, that it's a sermon, whatever it is that needs to be said in that moment. How urgent is the matter? And anytime a minister goes in front of a people, the message is always urgent. A message is always urgent. And so the piece that I wrote and said was an urgent matter. We've all felt the effect, and we're still feeling the effects of 2020 this year in many facets. And we're all looking for ways to cope. We're all looking for ways to get through it. We're all looking for ways to find peace and find solutions and resolutions. And even the way that I was speaking the piece, it was a kind of a crescendo. It was a progression of urgency. My prayer is that urgency kind of came through. That sense of urgency came through the voice. And so I was just speaking about that. Anyway, how you guys doing?
Oh, it's so good. I'm so glad we caught you. Google Calendar betrayed us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's a little bit column A. We betrayed ourselves a bit with using the
Google Calendar.
Technology.
I know.
That's right.
So I'm so glad we caught you because we were really looking forward to meet you and seeing the man behind the piece.
Yeah, same here. I think it's interesting. And so you guys, what? Tell me about what did you guys think?
Well, it was so interesting for us because I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual.
Yeah.
And Brandon, I'll let you speak for your experience and journey with it. But it was really interesting because I resonated with a lot of the themes of it, and then I really struggled with some of the themes of it. I was super sick with COVID in March.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was before they had any. I couldn't get a test. I didn't get a test till like six or 8 weeks after I got better. I was in bed for 18 days.
Had they already identified it as COVID, or?
No,
Okay.
I figured out it was COVID because about 2 weeks before it came out that loss of taste and smell was a symptom. I lost my taste and smell, and I was really sick. So I was assuming it was COVID, but you couldn't get a test anywhere at that time. I think I could pay like $500 out of pocket and like drive to North Georgia and get at something. Yeah. But after I lost my taste and smell, it came out that was a symptom, and that's sort of what confirmed it for me. But I definitely felt the urgency and the sort of grasping that I felt in that time because everything was uncertain. Just no answers.
Yeah.
And it was really, really scary.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting to me. But, I struggle sometimes with the idea of prayer in absence of action. And so that was one of the things in the piece that I think we the theme we started playing with of the idea of like the warrior, the spiritual warrior. And you said armor, coded armor. And we just got this image of, it was your idea, right, Brandon? Like the image of the crusader.
That's right. Yeah. Always sort of a potent figure to me in religious history. I was raised Catholic, kind of spent some time as a Catholic kid. And after college, I kind of fell out of the faith there. And I'd say I'm agnostic now. So I resisted this piece a little bit. I won't lie. But I think what I do resonate with this piece is like we just need to do something. And we do want those answers. And just help to have them, and I'm at a loss too, I find myself, I tend to look to science for the answers of things that are unseen in my life, for the things I can't readily wrap my head around. But, there are moments when I do pray, I just gotta, I kind of just throw it up there to whatever divine being there is. And I'm like, that's that. So that kind of trust, I think is there in the piece, and is something I embrace and also wrestle with in my life.
Yeah. I mean, we call that faith. When you just throw it up there. Right. That's what that is. That's faith. And you talk about, prayer without action. The Bible talks about, a lot of people like to quote it, but they kind of mistranslate it.
Right.
Faith without works is dead. And what some people take that to is you can have all the faith in the world, but you have to do something. But in all actuality, the way it's translated is because of your faith, you do. Right.
So like if you live within these values, your actions will represent that.
Actions will represent it, right? And that's what that's about, right? And so it's don't just talk about it, but be about it. And in that being, we exist in it.
Yeah.
That's what faith is existing in that.
I believe, like I said, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious, but I believe like all religions are trying to say the same thing. Like we're all trying to comprehend this completely incomprehensible, larger than human experience thing. And like my woo-woo ass calls it alignment. Like that's just full alignment. Like when you are living in value with your core values and what you believe to be your higher self or your divine purpose or whatever, that is alignment, and that's faith, for you. And I think that I love that these core concepts translate across religions, across peoples, across cultures. And I think that's what's been really hard about like living in our country right now is like no one's in alignment with anyone.
Right. That's right.
And that's what the COVID-19 crisis has been. It's been totally out of alignment.
That's it. Yeah, and I love that word. You're right. And I use that word a lot, alignment. And what that is an absence of love. That's what that is. It's an absence of love. When there's no love, there's no alignment. When there's no love, there's no peace. When there's no love, there's chaos. And chaos, everyone is moving this way,
right?
As opposed to being in perfect alignment, right? And so there's no vision. There's nothing with the absence of love. And so I think the world, and you notice this is a global matter. The world, this is a love issue.
Right, because there's not a lot of kindness going on, right? Which is like the core tenet of love.
And people not being kind with themselves too, you know. And that's the thing that sort of shakes me a lot about the current events and how people are behaving in these current events. It seems like crazy to me. Like, how can you not? What are you doing? I think it just stems from hypocrisy, and it's like the people who I think are not really like taking care of themselves are the people they want to be taken care of. And they're not willing to sort of be in alignment, right? They're not willing to put that love out to get that love first, and you know. This is really cool doing it outside here. I'm picking up a lot of cool sounds.
OMG, it's a
Saying yes.
That's right. So I mean, I get tense too because I see a lot of myself in those same people that I resist.
Sure.
That same sort of hypocrisy, that same lack of love. I just feel so tense and angry, and I want to feel that love because I know that is the answer. You know, that's really the way we're gonna move forward. Yeah, I acknowledge, you know, I think that's when I'm in, that's when I feel like I'm most myself, when I'm able to sort of see my behavior for what it is and my that I'm not being objective at certain points. I'm able to kind of clock that readily. And yeah, but then it's just like seeing that and still responding with love, I think is the big
Ooh, that's
move.
good. Responding with love. That's good. You guys are...
You can use that.
Can I? I will in a second.
You use anything, man.
You guys are married.
We're married.
We are.
Right? And so I'm getting married in December.
Yes, congratulations, dude.
It's the literal best.
I can only imagine, but I'm already feeling that. I'm already feeling it. Like I'm destined to be married to this person. Her name is Aisha.
Aisha. What's your name? Also, we came late.
Oh yeah, that's right. We just started talking.
I'm Jen.
Hey Jen, I'm Anthony.
Anthony.
I'm Brandon.
Brandon, how you doing? I'm Anthony.
Hi, Anthony.
So
Hi, Jen.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Hi, good to meet you.
And Aisha.
Yes, and Aisha. Absolutely.
You may have already talked about this, but do you have like your love story, how y'all met?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay.
Because it all comes back to love.
It all comes back to love.
Hey,
we used to work at the same organization, and really, she was in HR, and so I was like, "Oh,
You're in trouble with HR already? Oh no!"
But you know, this is really a divine story. You know, when I saw her, I immediately knew. Now I'd been in prayer already for a couple of years for my wife, and I've been in and out of relationships, and those failed relationships started feeling like personal failures.
Yeah, it's hard.
And so I got to the point of full submission, like, all right, God, this is yours. Like, I can't do this no more. And so after some years of praying and fasting, and she started working at the organization, I heard God say her, but I didn't know how that's going to be possible because she's in HR. But anyway, but opportunity came up, right? Because she was new in town. And so opportunity came up. She was looking for someone to show her around town.
Hand
and,
raise.
hey, you talk about faith. I'm just going to throw it out and see where this takes me.
Right.
And she, she had no idea, that I was interested. I didn't have the guts at the time to say this is why. Because honestly, oh my gosh, she's so gorgeous. She's so smart. She's everything that
You prayed for.
I prayed for, right? But also she was in HR.
Yeah.
So what would you like? You just keep getting into trouble and be like, oh, I gotta go to HR.
Just gotta go to HR. No,
sort me out.
but we had a real talk, and just the feeling was mutual, and we developed a good friendship, which turned to a wonderful relationship, and this is where we are, getting married in December.
I think it's so lucky. We started as friends too, and I think it's so lucky for that to happen. It's rare that it happens, and it's sort of a bizarre pathway. But yeah, we were in the same. We were friends first, and it just felt inevitable or divine by the time the relationship happened. So I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, man.
You know what? Thank you. Thank you. I mean, what's y'all love story?
We met in college. We were in the same theater program. And, so two little actors.
Yeah, we both did a lot of weird art.
Yeah, we took it very seriously.
We were very serious. We rolled around on the ground a lot.
Yes.
Scripts.
Scripts? What's that? Get that away from me. We're going to feel our lines.
Actually, I remember seeing Brandon. Were you playing? You were in some Greek play.
I was playing Pentheus, I believe, in the Bacchae.
Sure. And he was in a black dress with combat boots, a raspberry beret, and he was like waltzing with a floor-length mirror with himself. And
cool
I
stuff,
just literally
I get it.
sat like on the back of my chair, like, art is happening. And I just remember being like so enchanted with him. And then I guess you saw me in a weird Shakespeare play where I was like kind of mohawk, and he was like fangirling me as well.
Yeah, like I was like, oh man, I was like, this play's awesome, but I like that.
I like that.
She's amazing. Like,
I'm like
the whole
literally
energy,
on the ground, like primal screaming. And he's like,
exactly.
that girl's for me.
Yeah. She's raw.
So can I just say, I love how y'all literally just sat down and started talking nonstop. Like, it's such a beautiful thing to see, man. Oddly enough,
Yes.
Anthony hasn't even heard your musical response yet, so
Oh
my God. I haven't.
I was going to ask, what did you think?
I haven't.
I'm being mindful of the time. I know we got to cut you loose, Aunt, but I'm sending the musical response to your phone right now, so you can listen to it on the car ride back.
Oh, Anthony, I could literally talk to you all night.
I know.
This has been
It's
such
really
a treat.
Really, honestly, this really was good. Like this was life restoring. You know,
Yes.
I work at a homeless shelter, and so you can imagine all the pouring out that goes on. This has poured into me. It really has, and so
When our cup overflows, we have the resources to give too.
Yeah,
like and in your
that's good.
in your craft too. Like
good,
in your field,
yeah.
you're probably giving a lot.
Yeah. So, I appreciate talking to you all. I can't wait
Thank
to
you.
hear your piece. I'm like
I'm
legit.
so nervous.
It's
don't be
short.
nervous.
It's short, so you can do it on the car ride back.
So I know you have to go.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you. This was certainly a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. May God continue to prosper the both of you in your marriage.
Thank
May
you.
He give you everything that your heart desires.
We're sending that right back to
Yeah.
you.
Amen.
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 Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
That's
Anthony.
a wrap on Anthony.
That's a wrap.
Okay, hold
Cool.
up. Let me walk you out.
Thanks, man.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm just seeing them all like in the periphery. Like,
I can't wait till you hear our piece. I hope.
I know. I hope you dig it.
I'm ready. I know it's gonna be wonderful. This is wonderful. All right, guys.
Have a good one, man.
Bye.
See ya.
Jen and Brandon, if you can chill with us for just a little bit longer, that'd be super dope. Okay, hang tight. I'll be right back. Oh, hey, welcome back. So while we're still in transition out here in the treehouse, I would love for you all to finally hear Jen and Brandon's artistic response. So here it is, The Last Crusader.
Last crusader grasping sand, devil picking up his hand.
Well, you too. I'm so glad this all worked out and that you and Anthony got to meet each
He's
other.
a really cool dude, yeah.
He's amazing. He's like immensely thoughtful and open-hearted.
So I'm curious. I mean, what were your immediate thoughts when you were assigned Anthony's sermon to respond to musically?
But Brandon, you had an experience with the piece for sure.
I did. And again, it's the same sort of resistance that I loathe in other people. It's that same sort of like reactive, like, ugh, that's not how I think. I don't want to hear it. And those words are coming out of my mouth. And so it's this hypocrisy that I try to pare away every time I feel it, or try to get closer to the center. Okay, what am I really feeling? What's really the core of it here? And yeah, I mean, Anthony's such a cool guy, though. I mean, like, I did feel like we were gonna get another sermon when we met the writer of the piece, and it makes sense that the piece is so convicted. It's like because a sermon that's kind of like, oh, I don't know about this, guys. are we sure prayer's gonna work? Like that to me is like how I think all the time. It's like I'm always thinking of like a contingency, or like an uncertainty, or like we can't ever be certain about anything. So why are we so certain that this prayer is going to be the solution? And it also feels like a very non-tactile way to address the what's going on in the world right now, what's facing the world. But he elaborated later on and said, it's about you pray and you sort of manifest the action too with that prayer. Then you're in alignment is kind of where we arrived at. So yeah, reading this piece, I was highly resistant, and I did get that out. That was on the cutting room floor. That was the hallway shouting piece. That was not good for anyone. So what we arrived at was much more of a processed version of those feelings.
But I think it's so apt because the theme was battleground, and like that the nature that your artist friends, Casey, who totally were like, whoa, this is not my thing, were given that there's a battleground even internally within the artists coming together.
I'm still in that battleground. I'm still fighting that because I do want to be in a place where I can come to a table with the clergy or with anyone else and not immediately think, well, you think way differently. I mean, I just had a conversation with someone today about something that we disagree on a pretty big amount, but they're still a really nice person. So, but it is coloring my perception of this person. So I know that is not a loving way to be, and I know that's not a fully realized way to be. So I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep fighting to be this loving creature.
Well, and Anthony proved it too. Like people are so much more complex and interesting and nuanced than how they present, and like also it comes down to knowing your audience, right? So like that's the challenge of this assignment or this project, because Anthony doesn't know his audience. No. You go to church, that conviction, the audience showed up for that.
Yeah, that's
conviction. True. It's like
I'm thinking about him driving now and listening to the song like, what the hell is this? Hopefully not. Hopefully he enjoys it.
Well, folks, somehow in the middle of one of the most bizarre years in modern history, 30 artists came together in the spirit of creation to show the world the type of connection that is possible when people, even complete strangers, make intentional space to just listen to each other. Team You Heard Me Right will forever be humbled and grateful for the honesty, bravery, and artistry coming from all of this season's guests, and for the support and belief in this project from Spotify and the Sound Up Podcast Accelerator. Before we officially say goodbye to Season 1, next Thursday, we invite you to our behind-the-scenes special, Inside the Treehouse, featuring never-before-heard insight from some of your favorite guest artists, as well as the original You Heard Me Right pilot that started it all. The Inside the Treehouse special is available to download and stream for free exclusively on Spotify. Last but certainly not least, thank you for being a part of this journey. We will hear you later. You Heard Me Right is a Spotify Sound Up original series and was workshopped as part of the Sound Up Accelerator program at Spotify headquarters in New York City. From Could Be Pretty Cool Productions, this episode was produced and edited by Casey Willis, with help from Cooper Skinner and Jacob McCoy. Mixing and sound design by Cooper Skinner. Our executive producers are Casey Willis, Cooper Skinner, and Lexi McKay. Our writer and story editor is Caroline Baxter, and our production accountant is Simone Brown. Special thanks to Greg at Listen Up Audio, Kanye Willis, Remy, and Bima. From Spotify, executive producers Gina Delvac, Baron Farmer, Natalie Tuluk, and Jane Zumwalt. For more information about today's guest artists, visit us at heardrightpod.com or follow us on IG at heardrightpod. Thanks for listening.